Welcome to the More Than Fitness podcast.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Minisode number 17 on the More Than Fitness podcast. Today's Minisode, we're going to talk about 4 tips to avoid missing workouts when you're too tired. This is a common, I guess you can call it excuse. This is a common excuse that that I've used plenty of times, but also plenty of the people that I work with have tried to figure out ways around this. And then also friends and family. The number one thing they usually say is either I don't have time or I'm too tired after work to get in workouts. Or if it's before work, that's also very difficult for people. So what I wanted to do, instead of just telling everyone to just simply suck it up and try harder, I wanted to actually give some practical tips to help you be more consistent and try to, even whenever you are too tired, kind of work against that before you can ever give yourself that excuse in the first place. And after I go through these, that'll make a little bit more sense. So let's go ahead and jump right in to the first tip. So the first tip would be go straight from work to the gym. And the main thing here is that you keep momentum, right? Because I think that's typically what ends up happening to most people is they've had a long day at work and maybe they've skipped their afternoon snack. And so they're already tired from work, and then they're also a little bit hungry. And then they know the main problem is they still have to go to the gym, right? And that combination is not the best whenever you're trying to build up the motivation and the willpower to get to the gym. If you're tired and hungry, well, that's, again, recipe for disaster. And it's even worse whenever people, let's say you do that, you have that hunger and that exhaustion, and then you need to go home first before you go to the gym because maybe you need to grab a snack, maybe you need to change, and then you plan on going to the gym right after that, right? But the problem is, and I'm sure many of you can relate to this, is as soon as you get home, and if you either maybe smell something that your significant other has been cooking, right? It's you walk in the door, you smell something delicious. It's basically in that moment, okay, I'm probably not going to be going to the gym today because dinner will probably be ready soon, and I'm starving and I'm tired and I deserve this amazing meal, right? So I think that's one of the things that can definitely get in the way. And I think the other problem that can happen is whenever you go home and you bargain with yourself, you say, okay, I'm just going to go home. I'm going to have a snack. I'm going to change. And then I'll go to the gym in maybe 10 minutes. So you walk in the door, you open up the fridge, you don't see anything. So then you just grab like a protein bar or something like that to hold you over. You lay down on your couch for an innocent 5 to 10 minute scroll of social media. And then that as soon as you lay down on that couch, after you eat something and you start scrolling, the likelihood of you getting up and actually making it to the gym is, 8 out of 10 times you're not going to make it. So the point here with this first tip is to keep momentum. Objects in motion tend to stay in motion. So I would say even if you do decide to go home after work, I would highly recommend you stay on your feet the entire time. Do not get comfortable. It's a trap, right? Because as soon as you get comfortable, then again, your willpower and motivation is basically none. So don't get comfortable in between work and the gym. If you do have to go home, I understand. Stay on your feet, keep moving. Or better yet, I would say go straight from work to the gym, which brings me to my second tip, which would be make going to the gym as frictionless as possible. And so building off that tip number 1, if you want to go to straight from work to the gym, well, you're going to have to make sure that you have everything prepared ahead of time. And so whenever I say make going to the gym as frictionless as possible, I mean in the fewest decisions possible, right? So if you have to find out, this could be going straight from work to the gym after work, or this could also be in the mornings. If you tend to be one of the crazy people who work out before work, well, then the more decisions that you have to make that keeps you from where you are now and then getting to the gym, the more decisions you have to make is only going to make it that much harder. The more willpower and motivation you're going to have to muster up to make that happen. So when I say make it frictionless, I mean, I want you to lay out everything that you need, every decision that can be quote unquote automated the night before, so that you don't have to do any thinking between getting you to where you are and to the gym. That's what I want you to do. So laying out all of these things. So gym clothes, and that includes socks, compression shorts, sports bra, etc. Right? Men probably don't need the sports bra. Good joke, me. Yes. Gym bag, that would be another one. Water bottle, keys and wallet. Pre-workout, if you take it, or coffee pre-prepped, so that all you have to do is just do the nice little ritual of your coffee cocktail that you do, and any snack or food needed, because that's the two main excuses that you think, okay, I've got to figure out what I'm going to wear. Maybe you have all your gym clothes are dirty or something. You're just not prepared. So that's going to be like, okay, well, I don't have any clothes to wear, so I can't go to the gym today. But the other one is, at least after work, if you're hungry or something, then you don't have a snack prepared, and then you're going to have to either go through and get something, go through somewhere, or you're going to have some snack. And it's not going to work out. Again, you can rationalize with yourself all day, but whenever you figure out how to make getting to the gym as frictionless as possible, and you automate these decisions, well, the likelihood of you actually going to the gym only increase. So tip number 2 is make going to the gym as frictionless as possible and be prepared. All right, the third tip is to use quote unquote temptation bundling to make working out more attractive. And so I got this concept from James Clear's book, Atomic Habits. And I'm going to go ahead and read. So on the video podcast, I'm going to be looking down for a second because I want to read off what he has. But he notes that temptation bundling works by linking an action you want to do with an action you need to do. And so his formula is, after current habit, I will habit I need. And then after habit I need, I will habit I want. And if this doesn't make sense whenever you're just hearing me say it, again, I highly recommend you check out the blog post I made. Click the link in the description and this will make more sense. But to help you out more, I have, using our example of what I've just mentioned. So after finishing work, I will go to the gym. And then after going to the gym, I will watch my Netflix show guilt-free. So by bundling these temptations together with something that you need to do and something that you want to do, it's only going to make that healthy habit more attractive. So it's a good way of bargaining with yourself. So if I do this, then I can have that. And I think that this works great. This is something that I think a lot of us do without even realize that that it has a fancy name like temptation bundling. But whenever you actually write this out and you make it clear, then your likelihood of doing it will go way up. And so the last note I want to make on this is, just make sure that whatever you use for habit you want to do. So in the case where, so after going to the gym, I will watch my Netflix show guilt-free. Make sure that watch my Netflix show guilt-free isn't, I will enjoy a pizza. I don't want you to make food as the reward, because that's whenever you can have a really bad relationship with the food, where every time you go work out or do something good, you reward yourself by having food. And so that can be a recipe for disaster. All right. And the very last tip I would say is outsource your motivation. Right? So I may be biased here, but the most powerful motivator that I've found, that clients that I've worked with, and just for most people that I know who actually want to take this seriously, the most powerful motivator is to be accountable to someone else. So you need to hire someone, right? And so I have had multiple coaches, both in fitness and in business, and I want to run through the list of what I have learned with it that I think will resonate a lot with you. So what I learned from having my own coaches is that I'm okay with letting myself down, but I hate letting them down. So I'll do whatever I need to do, even whenever I don't want to do it, right? So another one would be they're checking in with me regularly. So if I haven't kept my word, I'm going to look like a lazy piece of shit and feel bad about myself. I know that this is harsh, but it is absolutely true. It's like this, somebody that you hire as a coach is typically someone that you respect and that you look up to. And so, you had a promise to them and they had a promise to you. And as long as they held up their end of the bargain, you feel like you need to reciprocate and hold up your end of the bargain. And just, keep your word to yourself, but also keep your word to them about this is something that you really want. So you don't waste either of your own time. The next one would be just like you've learned from everything that I've just mentioned here. Good coaches can identify problems and solutions that I'm not aware of. And then after they identify those problems and solutions that I may not be aware of, then they hold me accountable in actually following through with them. That's the biggest thing with a coach because, and it's what I have down here. It's like, I often know what to do, but the coaches actually make me do it. So it's not the information necessarily, which coaches definitely typically have more specific knowledge around something than you do. But the biggest thing is the accountability, and they actually make you implement what works. Because that's the biggest thing. Most of you know what you need to do, but you're not actually doing it consistently, right? And so that's what hiring someone can definitely help you do. And the last thing would be, I'm always looking for better ways of doing something, but having a coach can prevent me from doing what works long enough to see results in the first place. I'm sorry. I butchered that badly. This is what I get for reading my own article here. So I said, I'm always looking for better ways of doing something, but this can prevent me from doing what works long enough to see results in the first place, because coaches get me out of my own head and, again, focused on what matters. So me, again, thinking that I know what's best, I'll try a bunch of different things instead of sticking with the thing that I know will probably work for a long enough time. So it's kind of shiny object syndrome. All right. And so that is it. That is my four tips to avoid missing workouts when you're tired. Real quick. 1, go straight from work to the gym. Keep momentum. Tip number 2 is make going to the gym as frictionless as possible. Be prepared. Number 3 is use temptation bundling to make working out more attractive. And number 4 is to outsource your motivation. All right, and that is it for Minisode number 117. Thank you guys, as always, for listening and for watching. See ya.